she will use that knowledge against him, right? But I'm so happy that that was not what happened because that's what I was expecting. So I'm very happy that the story didn't turn out that way. I like that twist. Kiola promises to be with him till the end, and she even begs him that she wants to go with him on the next war because they know the Eba people know that the Alaafin Oyo was going to retaliate, so they were prepared, and the war was the next day. He told her he didn't want her to go, but she insisted, and she went with them. So after that, we see that she goes to the priest and she begs the priest for what she can do to help Lisabi win the war, right? And the priest tells her, there's something that he can do, or no, rather, he says if the Egba people are not ready to be free themselves, if they themselves are not in their minds to be free, then there's nothing he can do. But she just pleads and she begs, and we see that the priest summons this shadow. He comes. I heard the priest call Shongo, right? And then this shadow is summoned, and that's about it. To my surprise, that was the end. Just that shadow was summoned, and I didn't see what the shadow being summoned was for. It's just like disturbing the shadow from a sleep for no reason. So after that, the priest tells her that if she wants real powers that will really, really defeat the Oyo Empire, she has to go to Ajay. She has to go to the Ajay. I want to use Ajay here because although the English word, people say the English of Ajay is witches, but I don't know. I don't think that's completely correct. But anyway, she goes to the Ajays. Let me just leave it at that. We don't see her going to the Ajay that night. So the next day on the battlefield, right, Lisabi and his men, they are fighting. They are fighting around Imoja and his men on the battlefield. And Ikiola, who had followed them, just disappeared of some sort. And then we see her discussing with the Ajay. She was pleading with the Ajay to come to their aid to help them to win the war and stuff like that. So while that was happening, Lisabi and his men, Lisabi Salako and the rest, they were fighting around Imoja and his men from Oyo, right? And I was so surprised because when the war was getting serious, some of the men had changed form. Jogo had given them powers to be able to change form. So those of them that had received powers from Jogo to change form, they changed form to attack around Imoja. And to my surprise, they got shot and they died. I didn't understand, is it that they were not using normal bullets or what? Or, I felt like there should have been a backstory. We should have seen the preparation of Aaron Imoja and the men. Did they chant incantations on the bullets and the guns? That's why the people who changed form got shot and killed. It wasn't said. And I thought that they were not supposed to die because that's the whole point of collecting that power. So even Salako, who had the power of releasing fire, also gets killed. I was surprised that Lisabi's men were getting killed after being fortified by those creatures. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. But anyway, they keep fighting and Lisabi almost loses the war. Almost all Egba people on that battlefield, almost all of them died. But we see Ikeola with the Ajays. She's begging, and then they just decide to follow her to the battlefield. And the Ajays come there and kill all the Oyo warriors and all the Oyo warriors, right? So it's Lisabi that finishes the job and kills Aaron Imoja. And that's the end of the battle. So the Egba people go back home victorious. Now, what will I say about this? What I'll say is that we were not shown the contract between Ikeola and the Ajays. Because you don't just go to Ajay and you get something for free. It doesn't work like that. In fact, the whole world doesn't work like that. Nothing is for free, right? So it's a contract. Is either maybe you have to do something or sacrifice something. It wasn't shown. And I thought that it would be shown later on in the movie, but it wasn't shown at all. So it almost looked like Ikeola went to beg the Ajays and they agreed to help her for free. Why would they do that? I don't know if you get it. So that's another thing that I noticed about the movie, right? But anyway, they win the war. And when they get back to Egba, everybody's celebrating Lisabi as a hero and the rest. And then that's when we see the other people that went to war with him, the other people that he had fortified with powers. We see that they were jealous of him because he was the only one everyone was praising. They were feeling like they had a lot to also do with the success, but it was only one person that was being praised. Abejide was the one that was actually vocal about this issue, about this jealousy that he had. He was the only one that was vocal. The other ones weren't saying anything. They were just pretending like they were still cool with Lisabi, right? So Abejide was the only one that came out and spoke, and they had this altercation, and out of annoyance, Lisabi just shoved him off and he fell and hit his head. To my surprise, it doesn't mention if Abejide died or not. Because at first I thought he died, then later on I thought maybe he was unconscious or something, but it wasn't even said. That was the end of Abejide's rule. That was another shock as well. After that, Ikeola begs Lisabi to appeal and apologize to the youth for what had happened with Abejide. But we see that Lisabi didn't get to do that at the end of the day. He didn't get to do that. So the other who were with Lisabi, right, who have fought the war with him and others, they all called this meeting behind Lisabi's back. And they included Ikeola because she was also one of the people who had received powers. They included her and they were discussing how they were going to bring about the downfall of Lisabi because he was too proud and he was the only one being praised and stuff. But Ikeola refuses, or she refused rather, to go along with their plan. You know, she kept mentioning all the good things that Lisabi had done for them. It's because of Lisabi that they are free from the Oyo Empire and all that. So she won't be a party to whatever plan that they had. And they got angry and they killed her. That was another scene that took me aback, right? Because for someone who has had a deal with their Jez, I was so surprised that she was easily killed like an ant. The unaliving wasn't even that, it wasn't that complex and complicated. How am I going to say it now? How did they unalive her? They held her down. Some of the men held her down. Then another one used his hand to cover her nose and was chanting incantations, and that was it. She just, I even thought she fainted. When I watched that part, I assumed that she fainted. Only for me to see that they just put her body on the bed, covered her with white cloth. And I was like, is that it? Like, this is a person. Keola has received powers from Eye. She has had a deal with Ajay, and this guy just killed her just like that. Anyway, so Lisabi comes back and sees Keola's body